Welcome to the Senior Techie Podcast. You know, you might not have ever made this, big formal declaration that you're just finished with cooking.
Right, it's rarely a conscious choice.
Exactly. It's usually more like, well, you notice standing at the kitchen counter to chop vegetables just sends this ache through your lower back, and you're not even halfway done.
Or maybe you've just stopped trusting the stove, constantly double-checking the dials to make sure they're really off.
Yeah, for the adult children listening, it's often that sudden sinking feeling during a phone call. When you hear, oh, I just had cereal for dinner, and you realize it's been 3 nights in a row.
It happens so often.
It really does.
Yeah.
And we need to establish this right at the start. That is not a character flaw. It's not, a failure of independence. It's simply a practical problem.
Right.
And practical problems require practical solutions.
Absolutely. So we are going to look at a stack of recent information to find those solutions today. We've got extensive evaluations from AARP on meal delivery services.
Which are super helpful.
They are, plus safety statistics from the National Fire Protection Association, and some really revealing research out of Hawaii Kupuna about the emotional impact of automated meal delivery.
So the goal here is to use your phone or your tablet to secure food that you can safely manage, afford, and actually enjoy eating without needing to become like an app expert.
Exactly. But before we get into the specific services AARP looked at, I think we need to define some technical jargon you're going to see in these apps.
Yeah, they can sound a bit intimidating.
They can, but the mechanisms are straightforward. So the first term you'll see everywhere is a shared cart.
Right, and it's not a literal metal buggy you push around.
No, it's more like having a magical, endless grocery basket. Say it's sitting in your kitchen in Arizona. You drop a loaf of bread into it. A second later, your daughter, using her phone in North Carolina, drops a carton of milk into that exact same basket.
Oh, I love that. So you both see the items instantly, and the whole list goes to the same virtual checkout counter.
Exactly. The second term we need to know is a digital filter.
I always compare this one to having a highly attentive personal assistant.
Yeah.
Like imagine they're walking 3 steps ahead of you in the actual grocery aisle.
Right, checking all the labels for you.
Yeah. So if you're on a strict low-sodium diet, you set the filter on your app. And that software assistant instantly sweeps away any product on the shelf that has too much sodium before you even look at it.
You only see what fits your diet. It's brilliant.
Okay.
And the final term is a PDF search.
Which is crucial for insurance stuff.
Yes. When you look up Medicare benefits online, you're usually dealing with a PDF document. They can be, hundreds of pages long. Doing a PDF search is like having an instant index at the back of a huge book.
It just automatically flips the book open for you.
Right. It points a glowing arrow at the exact word you're looking for rather than making you read page by page.
Perfect. So with those tools in mind, the shared cart, the digital filter, and the PDF search, we have to honestly evaluate the physical reality of the kitchen first.
Because technology can't solve a problem if you pick a service that still requires the physical labor you're trying to avoid.
Exactly. And the safety data you brought from the National Fire Protection Association is, frankly, pretty stark on this.
It really is. They report that people 85 and older have a cooking fire death risk that is 5.5 times higher than the general population.
Wait, 5.5 times? That's terrifying.
Yeah. And half of all fatal cooking fires involve individuals 55 and older. It usually involves, forgetting a burner is on or a sleeve catching fire while reaching across a hot element.
Which means if the stove has become unsafe, or even just anxiety-inducing, shifting to a ready-to-heat model might be essential.
Right. Ready to heat means fully prepared meals. You keep them in the fridge, heat them in the microwave, and toss the tray.
The physical effort is just opening a door and pushing a button.
Exactly. We're talking about services like Factor, Cookunity, Mom's Meals, Silver Cuisine. But the AARP evaluations show a huge disparity in how senior-friendly these actually are.
Because it's not just about the food, it's the packaging. AARP named Factor its best overall service because it genuinely is just reheating.
Right, very frictionless.
Yeah.
But when they tested Cookunity, they found some major barriers. The print on their packaging is incredibly small.
Oh, that's the worst.
And they use these low contrast colors and glossy materials that create a terrible glare. It makes it nearly impossible for aging eyes to read the labels.
If you're paying for convenience, you shouldn't have to hunt down a magnifying glass to eat your dinner.
Exactly. AARP also noted that sometimes those meals arrived without clear instructions on whether to refrigerate or freeze them.
That's a deal breaker. Now, Mom's Meals is a bit different, right?
Yeah, they target specific medical conditions like diabetes, kidney disease, and crucially, pureed food diets.
Because making a medically safe pureed meal at home is really hard.
It's incredibly difficult. You need precise viscosity control so it doesn't become a choking hazard. So if you have strict health rules, a tailored service like Mom's Meals makes a lot more sense than a general gourmet one.
But we have to talk about the cost realities here. The base prices look okay, starting around, $6.99 a serving.
But the shipping is where they get you.
Right. Shipping usually adds another $11 to $20 per order. You really have to use your phone's calculator to divide the total cost by the number of meals to see the true price.
Which is often much higher than the advertised rate. And that math is why a lot of people look at meal kits instead.
You mean like Home Chef, Every Plate, Green Chef?
Yeah, exactly. They send raw ingredients in a box with a recipe, and they market heavily to older adults as this fun, engaging way to cook.
I really have to push back on that marketing, though. If AARP found that 63% of adults, 50 and older, don't want to spend more than 30 minutes making dinner, isn't ordering a meal kit just paying for the privilege of another exhausting chore?
Well, yes and no. The physical fatigue is absolutely still there. You're still chopping root vegetables, sautéing, washing pots and pans.
Right, so why even consider them if standing at the stove is the problem?
Because they only work if decision fatigue is your main issue, not physical cooking. If you have full mobility but you're just overwhelmed by meal planning, a meal kit removes that mental burden.
Okay, that makes sense.
And Home Chef does offer some oven-ready options to cut down the work. But yeah, if the stove is the primary obstacle, raw ingredient kits are the wrong solution.
Which brings us to the simplest shift. Because meal kits still require so much energy, the best tech solution isn't a glossy new recipe service at all. It's just modernizing how you get your familiar groceries.
Yes, apps like Instacart. They give you total control to just order what you already know how to manage.
Exactly. Rotisserie chickens, your specific brand of yogurt, deli meals. And the interface design is so helpful here, especially the usual food lists.
Right, you can save your typical, 3 breakfasts, 4 lunches, and 5 easy dinners.
I would say it's like walking into your favorite local diner where the waitress already has your coffee and eggs waiting because she knows your usual. It completely removes the exhaustion of deciding what to eat.
And this is where that shared cart feature we talked about becomes so powerful for families. Instacart has senior support lines, and an adult child can manage the account remotely.
So the daughter in North Carolina can add essential items to the cart, but the parent in Arizona still has the autonomy to add their own treats.
Exactly. But caregivers need to follow a strict rule here.
Oh, the aspirational kale rule.
Yes. Do not fill the digital cart with aspirational health foods like kale or quinoa that you think your parents should eat, but you know they won't actually touch.
Right. The goal is caloric intake and routine. Start with what they will actually finish.
You can introduce the healthier stuff later once they trust the delivery habit.
Right.
And by the way, SNAP can pay for online groceries too.
Oh, that's a great point.
And the SNAP Restaurant Meals Program actually exists for eligible seniors to use funds for hot prepared meals at participating restaurants.
That's incredible. And if you're wondering how to set all this up, the Senior Techie is an amazing resource. They have step-by-step guides for these apps.
Very helpful. But ordering the food easily is only a win if the logistics of the delivery don't fail.
Yes, the safety of the delivery itself. Because a box of food going bad on a hot porch is a massive problem.
It's a huge vulnerability. An NC State study looked at 72 meal kit deliveries. They found over 76% contained perishable items that were above 40 degrees Fahrenheit when they arrived.
Wait, 76%? That is a severe food safety crisis.
It really is. Cardboard insulation and ice packs melt fast on a hot porch. Foodsafety.gov says you must keep a physical food thermometer in your drawer. If the meat or dairy is over 40 degrees, do not taste it.
Right, just toss it and use the app to get a refund. But we can use our phones to prevent it from sitting out.
Yes. Turn on text alerts to know when the driver is near. Set an alarm on your calendar for the delivery window.
But even with a text alert, what if you have mobility issues and physically cannot lift a heavy box full of melting ice packs off the porch? How does tech bridge that physical gap?
Well, you can share that live tracking link. Text it to a nearby neighbor or family member. They can watch the GPS, see when it's delivered, and walk over to do the heavy lifting for you.
That is such a smart workaround. Now, what about the financial safety? Because subscription traps are real,
Oh, they are. They rely on what we call dark patterns.
like the psychological tricks in the app design.
Exactly. The subscribe button is huge and brightly colored, but the cancel button is buried under 4 menus in tiny gray text.
Typical.
HelloFresh actually just had a $7.5 million settlement over their auto renewal and cancellation practices.
Wow. So the tech fix for this is taking a screenshot of the cancellation instructions before you ever sign up.
Yep. And immediately set a phone reminder for 2 days before the next charge. It acts like a circuit breaker.
I love that. Okay, so the food is safe, the wallet is protected, the last layer of fine print is understanding what's inside the food and if Medicare will pay for it.
This is where a tablet or iPad screen is perfect. Use the pinch to zoom feature on nutrition labels before you order.
Because the marketing copy will lie to you, but the numbers don't. You've got to check serving size, protein, calories, and reheating instructions.
And sodium. The Cleveland Clinic says low sodium is 140 milligrams or less. A lot of these convenience meals are packed with sodium as a preservative.
And as a flavor enhancer, since freezing degrades the taste. If an app makes it hard to zoom in on the label, just abandon the purchase.
Absolutely. Another warning here is about swallowing issues or dysphagia.
Right. Never guess the texture based on a nice photo.
Exactly. If a liquid is too thin, it can enter the lungs. Always consult a speech-language pathologist before ordering texture-modified meals online.
Okay, so let's tackle paying for it. People assume being on a fixed income means they can't get help.
That's a mistake. Older Americans Act programs don't have a mandatory means test. It's based on voluntary contributions.
You just have to find them.
Right. You can call the Elder Care Locator at 800-677-1116 or use the free benefits checkup tool from NCOA. Just be aware the average wait list is about 4 months right now.
And a lot of seniors see those TV commercials promising free groceries through Medicare Advantage and think, oh, I'm covered.
The fine print on those is rough. Some plans offer a food allowance through something called SSBCI, Special Supplemental Benefits for the Chronically Ill.
But those benefits are shrinking, right?
Severely. A major funding model, the VBID model, ended. So for 2026, the share of plans offering those SSBCI food benefits dropped from 15% down to 11%.
It is deeply frustrating that just as we have the technology to make grocery delivery seamless, Medicare Advantage plans are actively shrinking these benefits from 15 down to 11%. Doesn't that make those free NCOA tools vastly more important?
It absolutely does. And to check if your specific plan still has the benefit, use that PDF search we defined earlier. Search your evidence of coverage document for words like grocery or meals to find it instantly.
So we've used the tech to order, track, vet, and pay for the food. But looking at a senior's whole well-being, we have to admit what these cardboard boxes fail to do.
Delivery solves the dinner problem, but it leaves the day empty. Hawaii Kupuna U evaluated this. Food insecurity improved, but for those living alone, 83% showed no improvement, or actually had an increase in loneliness.
That breaks my heart. Delivering a box of food to solve well-being is like, delivering a pile of car parts to a driveway and claiming you've solved transportation.
That's a great way to put it.
The material is there, but it's missing the engine. And the engine is human connection.
Yeah, a county in Maryland actually had to revert to volunteer hot meals after 8 months of using shipped boxes. The seniors just missed the human contact too much.
So we have to use technology to schedule the connection. Put a weekly lunch on a video call. Use the calendar to keep a congregate meal date at the senior center.
And caregivers, when you call, don't just ask if the box arrived. Ask what your parent actually ate.
Right. Well, here's something to mull over. We have these incredibly smart algorithms that predict exactly when we're going to run out of milk.
Oh, they know our habits perfectly.
But will technology ever evolve to seamlessly schedule a local volunteer or prompt a family member to drop by at the exact moment the app detects we haven't spoken to anyone in 3 days?
That's the real question. Until it can automate empathy, we have to manually schedule the human connection ourselves.
We really do. This podcast was brought to you by The Senior Techie. It's available on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify. If you'd like to receive their free newsletters, you can subscribe at subscribe.theseniortechie.com.